You're listening to When Everything Cracks, a mental health memoir set in old San Francisco. Chapter 19, Northeast Lodge. Northeast Lodge took me in on a cold Monday morning in August. I bid farewell to all the inmates at the asylum and stuffed my belongings into a gym bag. There were so many gifts that I had to put them in a bag all by themselves. Brenda's magic wand stuck out of the top of the bag. Barbara, the nurse, saluted me farewell, no touching. Jimmy Simple wouldn't say goodbye to me, he just pouted in his room. I'll see him again. I said so, and he just shrugged. I'd have hugged him, but it would have gotten him into trouble. I was finally leaving the spaceship on the alien planet and returning to San Francisco. The head nurse gave me one cab voucher, meaning it was a one-way trip. They don't want me back, and I don't want them back either. Connie lets me in again at the front door. Oh, good. You're just in time for deli project. Oh, shit. They want me in the kitchen. I can't. I panic, but Connie just takes me by my hand, they allow touching here, and gently drags me into the kitchen. I have all my stuff with me, and Connie says she'll take it up to my room. There in the kitchen is Gretchen Shout, the deli project manager. It takes very little time for me to realize that she's not a client. She's a counselor. She hands me a dull steak knife. Strawberries! She points to a giant stainless steel bowl full of strawberries. There must be 20 baskets worth. Next to it is another bowl, empty. Do you know what to do? I shake my head no, dumbfounded. Gretchen is about 50 years old, buxom and maternal. She has curly gray hair that escapes from her head in select places. Her face is very kind. I need you to take the tops off all the strawberries and then cut them into little slivers about yay big. She holds up a thumb and forefinger and rotates her wrist to indicate something about the size of a peanut. Do you think you can handle that? Nervously, I start to tremble. It's been so long since I've had to do anything but arts and crafts. I'm sure I used to cut strawberries, but never 20 baskets worth. Gretchen has infinite patience. She takes me by the hand and leads me over to the cutting board. She takes a strawberry from the bowl and places it on the board. She takes my hand and puts it on the strawberry. Just use your fingers to hold it. With her other hand, she holds my steak knife hand and brings the knife in contact with the top of the strawberry. She applies pressure, and I sever the strawberry from its leafy stem. Good. Now chop that in two and throw it in this bowl. She indicates the empty stainless steel bowl beside the bowl of strawberries. I throw the two small pieces of strawberry into the bowl. I notice a lot of strawberry left on the stem that might need to be trimmed and thrown in with the other strawberries. I hold the stem up so Gretchen can see the flagrant waste. Should I try to get more strawberry off of this? Gretchen smiles. Nope, trash it. It only takes a few chops to remember all the time I spent in my mother's kitchen, dicing onions and bell peppers for burritos, or peeling potatoes to mash. I know how to cook. This medication makes me feel yucky, but I think I can cook in spite of it. I remember the time I didn't know how long to leave the refried beans on the stove. Mom said, just be sure they're hot enough to melt the cheese when we add it. That day, the burritos were perfect. Then there was the time that Mom and I worked all day in the kitchen to prepare a Chinese feast. We hung marinated beef strips off curtain hooks and roasted them in the oven with a pan under them to catch the drippings. We made pot stickers and stir-fried vegetables. That was a lot of chopping that day. The pot stickers were completely from scratch, even the wrappers. We used a pot sticker mold that Mom bought in Chinatown at the same time as she bought me my square egg maker. It seemed like we had half the neighborhood over that day to eat Chinese food. Nobody went home hungry, and we had Chinese leftovers for 3 days after. Once in a while, Mom would let me make a dessert out of Maida Heater's Book of Great Desserts. My favorite to make were the mushroom meringues. They were just egg whites and sugar whipped until they were stiff and then put through a pastry tube to form little mounds and columns. I dusted them with cocoa and baked them in the oven. When they came out of the oven, they were solid little meringues. I melted Ghirardelli dark chocolate and applied it to the underside of the mounds with a spoon. Then I quickly stuck the mound to the stem. When they were set, I would put them in a basket lined with a red napkin and place them in the middle of the table. Some of Mom's friends didn't even realize they weren't mushrooms until dessert time. Gretchen stops by and exclaims, "You're nearly finished." She's right. I don't remember going through all of them. I knew you could do it. Are you sure someone didn't help me? Gretchen shakes her head. No, you did that all by yourself, Duncan. Connie put my things on my bed. The room is dark despite the fact that it has eastern exposure. The walls are musty landlord white with many stains and spots where the guests of this lodge have wiped their dirty hands or leaned their oily heads. The tattered curtains depict a colonial scene of pilgrims hoeing corn in the fall. Out the window, the northbound traffic roars its way into the Tenderloin. I like it here. I share the room with a short Chinese man with some kind of obsessive-compulsive disorder. He arranges and rearranges his comb, brush, and other vanity articles in a rough clatter. After each arranging session, he looks up and waves. "Hello, I put my things away now, okay?" And then he starts to rearrange them again. This goes on most of the afternoon. At 6 p.m., Connie's voice comes over the loudspeaker. "Attention Northeast patients, it's med time." A familiar scene, but it's somewhat more civilized than the mad dash at the hospital. Everyone in the lodge lines up at a Dutch door, patiently awaiting his or her meds. There are a lot of Chinese people here. Dixie, the girl with nail polish dots on her glasses, is in line in front of me. She turns around to talk to me. "How long have you been here?" "Me? I just got here." "Oh." She turns back around for the moment. Carl, the Chinese man with the immaculate vanity dresser, whispers to himself in Chinese. Dixie reaches past me and taps Carl on the shoulder. "Carl, Carl." Carl stops his mumbling. "Would you stop doing that? It's messing with my voices." "Oh, okay, sorry." Then he goes back to mumbling, unaware perhaps that he's doing so. Dixie heaves a huge sigh of frustration and plugs her ears, singing a nonsense song. She has her back to the meds window and doesn't notice it's her turn. Connie reaches out and taps her lightly on the shoulder. Dixie nearly hits her head on the ceiling as she jumps with astonishment. "Jesus, Connie, don't scare me like that." Connie hands Dixie a paper cup with a small assortment of pills. "No orange juice here. It feels very grown up." "Dixie, honey, do you need a PRN of Ativan or anything?" "No thanks, ma'am." Dixie dutifully swallows her pills and washes them down with Alhambra water. I step up to the window. "Hi there, Duncan." It feels nice to be addressed by my name, especially by someone as cool as Connie. She hands me my cup with its one little pill. It's a tiny little pill. I stare at it for a second. "Anything wrong?" "No, I just haven't seen what it looks like before." "Yeah, no orange juice here." Now I know what I like about Connie. She gets what I'm saying. All those nurses in the hospital just dismissed me. The most common answer to anything I said was either, "Oh, of course," or, nice. Connie actually listens to me. It's dinner time. The dinner is prepared by the clients. Everyone has kitchen duty twice a week. Tonight, it just so happens, is my night. I didn't know. Elliot, the kind, avuncular client in charge of tonight's meal, tells me I can do the dishes. I line up and eat with the rest of the clients. The meal is simple, baked hamburgers with tater tots and spinach. For dessert, it's ice cream and coffee. The hamburgers stick to the pans as Elliot dishes them out. It's going to take a long time to clean that up. The spinach is stuck to the sides of the pot, too. As soon as I finish my hamburger, I put my plate in the gray plastic tub and head to the kitchen to soak the pots and pans. I fill the sink with hot, soapy water. It reminds me of the first night my mother taught me to do the dishes. We added bright green Palmolive to the plastic tub in the sink and generated lots of bubbles by setting the switch on the rubber head to spray as we filled the tub with hot water. As hot as you can stand it. You put the utensils in the bottom of the tub to soak in case there's any caked-on stuff on them. You also take the stickiest pots and pans and fill them with pure hot water and add a little dish soap. Don't use Comet, even if the television says to, because it's poisonous and you don't want that shit sitting in a pot you have to cook in. You have to wash the glasses first since they'll show the most grease if you wash them later on. Plates are next because they stack better in the drainer if it's mostly empty. We stack them in one neat row, all facing the same direction. Next come the bowls because they don't have as much grease as the pots and pans. They're harder to stack because they come in so many shapes and sizes. Then you test the pans. Don't use a finger because the water's still too hot. Take a fork out of the soapy tub and see if the sticky, burnt stuff comes off easily. If it does, wash it. If it doesn't, let it soak overnight and then try again with the next set of dishes. Don't forget the forks and spoons. They'll clean really easily now because they've been soaking this whole time. It was the first time I ever did the dishes. Did you like it? She asked. It was kind of fun. Good. That's your job from now on. It was a trick. From that day forward, I always had to do the dishes, no matter how much I didn't want to. When Mork and Mindy was on, I couldn't watch because I had to do the dishes. Well, that's life, I guess. Elliot comes into the kitchen. He helps me put away the clean dishes by drying them with a dish towel. That was not something my mother taught me to do. She said they get cleaner if you let them dry naturally. She was an expert on dishes. How do you like it here so far? Elliot has small eyes and disheveled curly gray hair. He wears tinted wire-rimmed glasses that make his face look rounder than it already is. It's okay, I guess. Yes, it's okay. It's better than the alternative. I stopped to ponder what that might be. The dishes are done. It's time for coffee walk. I'm not clear what coffee walk entails. Elliot tells me to relax. It's the easiest activity going. He's in charge of the money. Everyone in the lodge treks out together, en masse, 2 blocks over to Cafe Soma. There are about 20 of us in all, descending on the staff, who expect us. They roll their eyes and whisper among themselves. I can guess what they're saying. One of them notices me. You're new. I blush bright red. I want to say that I'm not with these people, and then I realize that I am. I really am with them. It's the first time I've stopped to feel ashamed of what happened to me. I don't say anything. I don't like coffee either, so I don't have any. Dixie asks if she can have my share of the money to buy carrot cake.